I'm Tami Budd, and this is my dessert for the Philadelphia cream cheese. Today we're going to be cooking something called date nut cupcakes. In the center of the cupcake is a surprise, Philadelphia cream cheese. First you're going to need a cup and a half of water, 10-ounce package of chopped dates, and these have dextrose on them, they have a sugar on them, and that's perfect. 2 tablespoons of butter, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1.5 cups of sugar, because this is a cupcake. And then later on we're going to be adding 1 egg, a little bit of vanilla, half a teaspoon of vanilla, 1.5 cups of flour, quarter cup of protein powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and a cup of chopped walnuts. Okay, to start off, you go over to the stove. I'm going to boil up the water to get it nice and hot. You need the water to be hot so that it softens up your dates. Go ahead and put your dates in. And we're going to go ahead and let that boil up a little bit. As soon as it starts smoking, you're ready to add your other ingredients. I'm going to take my butter, my salt, and my sugar. Okay, and add those. Here's my salt, my butter. And the sugar I'm going to add just a little bit at a time. I want the butter to melt in. This is a recipe that my grandmother has been making since she was a child in Quebec. She's French Canadian, and this is actually originally a Christmas pudding. If you ever heard them say, bring on the figgy pudding. Well, that's what this is. It's figgy pudding. It's date nut pudding. She did not like it as a pudding, or her children didn't, my dad and his brothers. So she added more flour to it and made it into a cake. When I started making it for my family, my children were very young. My twin boys were about 3 years old, and my daughter was 1. And my autistic son, Nate, my twin boys, one, Alex, is typical, and then Nate is his twin brother who is autistic. Nate is a very picky eater. If you think your toddler is a picky eater, try having an autistic toddler. He wanted nothing but French fries, chicken nuggets, and hot dogs until he was about 5. And even after that, those are his favorite dishes. So in order to try and get some protein into his diet, I slip in protein powder into baked goods because he loves sweet baked goods. One of the things he really likes about this recipe is that it's got those sweet sticky dates in it, which he loves, and those are full of vitamins too. And then I add a little bit of protein powder and the walnuts I disguise in there for him to eat as well. And I have another trick that I do to get him to eat it also. And the cream cheese just adds one more element of nutrition because of the dairy in the cream cheese. So this is really not only something that's fun for Christmas, but I make it for them year round now. Okay, I've got a boil going on here, so I'm going to add that sugar. Probably about 2 or 3 pieces I usually add it, 2 or 3 sections, just to get it mixed in well. Okay. There we go. I'm gonna let that boil for about 5 minutes. Now, as our date mixture boils, I'm gonna go ahead and set up a bowl with ice, because one of the little tricks of speeding things up, if you don't have a lot of time, is you can put some ice in a bowl, put another bowl in it as a nest, and we're going to put our date mixture in this bowl and stir it up a little bit to cool it off faster so we can add our other ingredients. Our dates are boiling away nicely here. They're nice and soft now, so I'm going to turn that off. And while you do that, turn your oven on to 350 degrees. This is the perfect time to preheat your oven. And I'm going to take my date mixture and take it over to my prepared ice bowl with my nest. And I'm going to pour it into the nest. Okay. Now again, like I said, you're going to mix this over the ice to cool it as fast as possible. I'm going to go ahead and keep stirring and mixing this for about 5 minutes, but if you don't do it this way, it will take about half an hour. Our date mixture is cooled off. I'm going to go ahead and start adding my other ingredients. Take your egg, break it into a bowl and beat it. This isn't just to make sure that the shell doesn't get in it, but this is also to make sure that your egg is completely mixed into your date mixture. Going to add my egg to my date mixture and mix that in. So I'm going to add just half a teaspoon of vanilla and mix that in. Okay. Now in no particular order, I'm going to add my dry ingredients. I've got my baking soda, my protein powder, which is one of my tricks to get my children to eat healthy, and my flour. I'm going to put in about half of my flour, mix it in, and then do the rest of it, get it incorporated before I put it all in. I don't want it to be too lumpy. Now this is a cupcake. It's also sort of like a muffin, but it's sweet. And I sell it to my kids much better as a cupcake than a muffin. I'm just barely gonna incorporate that flour before I add the rest. And there we go. Add the rest of your flour. Now, once I have all the flour mixed in, the last ingredient is the walnuts. I have 1 cup of chopped walnuts. That's not only going to give this a nice crunchy texture to go with the nice sticky dates, but it's also going to add a little bit of extra protein to my cupcakes. I have 1 cup of roughly chopped walnuts. You can buy them chopped, you can chop them yourself. They're just roughly chopped, so you don't have to get the really fine chopped walnuts. You can do it yourself real quick with a knife. All right, and that's it. That's what it should look like. A nice, very sticky dough. And now we're gonna go on to putting it in our muffin tin. I'm using 2 different types of muffin pans, a regular size one and a mini muffin pan. I started doing this when I started making this for my son Nate. Even though it was a cupcake, he has a condition with his autism where he doesn't like to bite into things, sort of a tactile issue. So he will pop things in his mouth though. So what I did is I started making quick breads with protein powders in them into muffins and cupcakes in a mini muffin pan, and I found that if I did that, there were a lot more varieties of foods that he would eat. So this is sort of my trick to get Nate to eat the healthy food, the healthy cupcakes. And put some of our mix in each one of these. It only takes about a teaspoon. You don't want to fill it up all the way. Just about 1 tablespoon of mix will do it. All right, we've got our muffin pans ready. I'm gonna go ahead and put them into my preheated oven at 350 degrees. So 1 on top, 1 on the bottom. All right. Now I'm gonna set that timer for about 20 minutes. The mini muffins, or mini muffin tin, will cook faster than the larger standard muffin tin. So you'll wanna check on that first. About 15 or 20 minutes, your mini cupcakes should be ready. But your regular size ones might take another 5 to 10 minutes at the most. While those are baking, I'm going to get started on my cream cheese filling. Take 2 8-ounce blocks of Philadelphia cream cheese, put that in your bowl. They should be about room temperature. If they're a little cold, it's okay. I'm only adding a little tiny bit of sugar. The cupcakes are very sweet. Between the dates and the sugar, it's a very sweet cake, so you really don't need to add a lot of sugar. I add a little bit just to convince my kids that this is frosting and not just cream cheese. Our cupcakes are finished, and you can see they are nice, dark, sticky golden brown on the bottom and a light brown on top. I'm gonna put a few of these on my plate. Now, take your cream cheese in your pastry bag, and go ahead and stick it right inside. Don't be shy. Stick it right inside that cupcake and squeeze. When you start feeling a little bit of pressure, you're gonna pull it up, and there you go. Just like a Hostess cupcake when you were a kid. Okay, do the next one. Push that pastry bag down, give it a little squeeze, swirl it up. Now if you're gonna serve these at a party, as you can see, you just fill up your plate, serve it as so. It's very good with strawberries on the side. That makes a very nice accompaniment, and it's pretty. And there you go. Date nut cupcakes with cream cheese filling. I'm Tami Budd, and thank you very much for cooking with me today. Bon appetit!